Hello everybody, David Shuster here. Across the United States, the public pushback against ICE is intensifying. In Rochester, New York, this Immigration and Border Control vehicle had all 4 tires slashed. The attack came as more than 100 protesters confronted federal agents and forced them to retreat. The agents had tried to arrest residential construction workers, but neighbors and activists, including Rachel Barnhart, who recorded this, heard about the raid and swarmed the site. According to eyewitnesses, the federal agents took 1 roofer into custody. 2 other workers and their boss stayed on a roof and avoided apprehension because neighbors blocked ICE agents trying to climb up a ladder. Quote, Clayton Baker, a local roofing contractor, identified the arrested roofer as Chino, whom he said had legal authorization to work and had been in the United States for 25 years. They took my best worker that's been working with me for 5 years and just basically, see you later, you know? He's a family guy, and he's got a baby on the way. He's never even had a speeding ticket that I know of. He goes to church every Sunday, and he pays his taxes. But you want to come get him off of a hard-working job? It's bull. And it's inhumane, and it's sad. The quick protests against ICE came thanks to a local Facebook group called Rochester Rapid Response Network. Because of the site, text chains, and emails, activists quickly spread notifications about the raid, prompting demonstrators to arrive within minutes. Several people brought signs, including "No ICE" and "Kidnapping is still illegal." Other people chanted. In this video, you can see the Border Patrol car with the tires slashed. An ICE supervisor pleads with the protesters to let the agents leave.
You leave! Protect my workers! Let them leave! Copy!
According to the Trump administration's own data, more than 90% of the people arrested in these nationwide deportation raids have never been charged with a violent crime. Their only record is from either crossing the border illegally or seeking asylum. Protesters say it's one thing to target violent criminals, as Donald Trump promised, but in reality, the Trump administration has been rounding up and deporting hardworking immigrants who pay their taxes, obey the laws, and contribute to their communities. And every week, it seems, there's another story of masked agents without a warrant arresting people on citizenship suspicions alone. In Florida recently, ICE arrested a worker from Ireland who was not allowed to show he had all of his proper visas. The man described his arrest and the detention conditions.
I was on my way to work, which I did every day, I cycled every day, and I was arrested by an ICE officer and kind of kidnapped, I guess, off the street, and taken to Crone Detention Centre. A lot of things that either happened to me and happened to others. There was a guy that had been asking for his medication for days for his heart, and when we were out in the rec hall, the rec yard, he dropped dead of a heart attack in front of everyone. They kind of just moved us all away from him, but it's something that I'm never ever gonna forget. You know, it's ingrained in my head.
Yes, he watched a man die from a heart attack because the detention center refused medications. The horror stories about arrests and detention seem endless. Even people who have been in the United States for 30 years and have sons and daughters who served in the U.S. military have been swept up. Recently on MSNBC, host Mika Brzezinski tried to get a straight answer about Trump policies from border czar Tom Homan.
I'd love some transparency as to why a lot of these people have been disappeared. You say you have data. We would love to see it. The American people should see this data.
Well, here's the rhetoric again, right? You just meant disappeared. That was a ridiculous thing to say.
Why?
Because ICE is doing the same thing we've done for decades. But because of the last 4 years, ICE wasn't allowed to enforce the law. ICE was told to sit back, and you can't arrest an illegal alien for simply being here illegally. You got to wait till they commit a serious crime and get convicted of that crime. That's what Secretary Mayorkas' instructions were, and that's why you saw there's so much crime in this country coming from the illegal alien population, because there's no law enforcement.
Actually, there is law enforcement, and the federal government's own law enforcement data shows that the rate of violent crime among migrants and undocumented immigrants is less than the violent crime rate among U.S. citizens. But who needs facts when you are with the Trump administration?
But we're doing the same thing right now that we did when I started back in 1984. ICE agents are enforcing the laws enacted by Congress. They're appropriated funding to enforce these laws. If you don't like what ICE is doing, then go protest Congress. However, to say we disappear people, no. We're arresting people that are in the country illegally and are public safety threat. We know exactly who we're going to arrest when we go look for them. We have a case file in front of us. We have all those facts. This is not disappearing people. This is a planned, targeted enforcement operation that we're doing. And comments like you just made is one of the reasons why these men and women are under threat every day. Not just the men and women in ICE, but their spouses and their children. They're not disappearing people. They're enforcing the law.
And some of the courts have disagreed with that. In California, for example, a court put a stop to the random nature of the ICE raids in Los Angeles. Also, the law requires agents to have warrants when carrying out arrests. And every day, agents either don't have a warrant or refuse to show it. And that takes us back to Rochester, New York. Activists say the deportation rates have gone too far and will increasingly be met with resistance. It's the same story in communities across the United States. A growing number of Americans are rising up, racing to the scene of ICE raids, and giving federal agents an earful. Most of the clashes have been peaceful, and in many cases, the protests have been effective. The Trump administration may ratchet up these deportation raids, but public anger is growing, migrant worker supporters are getting better organized, and the effort to take America back from Trump's authoritarianism and tyranny is inspiring. By the way, a Trump energy nominee at a Senate hearing recently whiffed and got humiliated to her face. Testifying at a Senate committee hearing, that is attorney Laura Sweat. She's been nominated by President Trump to serve on the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and Sweat is about to make a fool of herself under questioning from Maine Senator Angus King.
Ms. Sweat, what's the cheapest form of electricity generation today in the country?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I have not looked into that issue, but I am happy to look into it and answer any questions.
Well, I'll help you. It's wind and solar by a mile, by a factor of 2. Do you know, let's take a case study, Iowa. Any idea how much wind power supplies to the economy of the electricity supply of Iowa?
No, sir, I don't know those specific numbers.
60%. Iowa is the 15th lowest electricity cost in the country, and in the past year, as we've already learned, average electricity prices across the country have gone up between 6 and 10%. In Iowa, it's actually gone down 0.5%.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Candy, who wrote, "The most unqualified administration ever, ever, ever." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about ICE agents getting stymied and shamed in Rochester, New York. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.